In an electric mixing bowl, add 770 grams of plain flour, then add 200 grams of sultanas to that, 65 grams of caster sugar, 14 grams of dried yeast, that's dried instant yeast. Then we've got in here 1.5 tablespoons of ground cinnamon as well as 1 tablespoon of mixed spice. So add that all in. And then we've got the zest of 1 orange and 1 lemon. So add that all in. Okay, now put that on your electric mixer, and using a dough hook attach that on, and we're just going to turn that around for a minute or two just to mix it all through. There's no wet liquids in there yet, it's just to combine all the mixture. Just on low so you don't have all the flour puff up on the sides. Also add 1 teaspoon of sea salt. In a small pot, add 420 ml of full cream milk and 100 grams of butter, unsalted butter, coarsely chopped, and just heat that on a medium heat on the stove until the butter melts. And then we're going to allow that to cool a little bit on the side, and we're going to lightly whisk an egg and add it to the milk and butter once this is a little bit cool. Okay, so this is the milk and the butter that's just come off the stove. It was on low to medium heat, and it's cooled down a little bit because you don't want that liquid to be too hot when you mix in the lightly beaten egg, because it'll cook the egg. So we're just going to add the egg, one whole egg, to that milk and butter, and just whisk that through. Just whisk for a couple of minutes. Okay, now we're going to add that to our flour mixture. So now we'll add this milk mixture to the flour mixture, and just on a low to medium speed with the dough hook, we're just going to mix that around for a minute or two just till it comes together. Then we're going to turn it out on the bench and knead it for about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, so we're just going to turn the dough out onto the bench. You don't have to lightly flour the bench. It's going to be all easy to knead on the bench. It's going to be a little bit sticky and soft at first, but it'll all come together. So I've been kneading for about 9 minutes, and it is quite smooth and elastic. So I'm just showing it is quite smooth and elastic. So I would now just roll it into a round little ball like that.
I'm saying like you.
And then I just have a large bowl that I've just lightly buttered. Just with cold butter. It's just so that it doesn't stick to the edge. Put that in there, in the bowl. Yay. We're going to just put a bit of Glad wrap or cling wrap.
Hey. Hey, Mom. Hey.
Put that cling wrap just over that. And put this bowl now in a warm spot for about 50 minutes to an hour. So go have a cup of tea or play with the kids or go read a book, whatever you got a bit of time to do. And I also will place this tea towel just to give it that extra bit of warmth. So put this in a warm place now for an hour. So this is the dough. It's doubled in size. It's quite big now. So take the napkin off and the Glad wrap, and we're going to turn this out onto the bench and knock it back, and then we'll break it up into about 18 round pieces and
On a party, Mum. On a party.
So this is a good chance to let the kids get involved and they can roll their own buns. Freya's going to roll her own bun, aren't you, Freya? Okay, so that's good. Knocked it back. Now we're going to now just break this up into about 18 pieces. I'll do it into 2.
I want some.
I'm going to give you yours now, Freya.
Give me my food.
So try to do 18 pieces, roughly around the same size.
I want some, Mum.
Yep, here's yours. And cut these in half. And just roll the dough, the little pieces of dough, until you have round ones. And then just place them on the tray, leaving a 1 centimetre width or space between each one. So there, the hot cross buns all lined up on the baking tray, and we've got a bit of space. We're now going to let them, we're going to cover this with a tea towel now and put it in a warm spot for about 30 to 40 minutes and let it rise again. And then once it's rested for 30-40 minutes, we can paint on our little crosses and start baking them. To make the paste, in order to make the crosses on top of the hot cross buns, add half a teaspoon of sunflower oil.
I'm be quiet.
Add 60 mils of cold water.
I bite you, Mum.
And mix it with the fork and to form a paste. You may need to add extra water if it's too gluggy, which this is. So I'll just add a little bit more water. So just add a little bit at a time.
I want it.
I'm just going to add a little bit more cold water because I want it to be able to pipe.
I can make Mum.
Okay, so that's fine. I might just add a drop more water, just a little tiny bit. There we go. So this now will pipe onto the hot cross buns. These have been cooking for 10 minutes at 220. They're still not ready. Now gonna turn it down to 200 degrees and cook for another 8 to 10 minutes. So these are the hot cross buns. They're ready. They're nice golden brown. And when you turn them over and you tap, they're quite hollow.
Mum.
And they're nice golden brown. So we'll let them sit on this tray just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll take them out onto a cooling rack. And then once they're completely cooled, we'll put a glaze over them.
I act a little crazy around
To glaze the hot crust buns, add 50 grams of caster sugar, half a teaspoon of mixed spice and 50 ml of water in a small saucepan and bring that to boil over medium heat, then simmer for about 5 minutes. Allow to cool a little before coating the hot crust buns. Make sure your buns are cool before you pour on the glaze. You can wait till the glaze is a little bit cooler if you like, but I just brush it on.